Basically, today while I was at Walmart, I basically had the Kyler Murray of shopping carts. Started strong, squeaked through the frozen foods, and by checkout, one wheel didn't even work. I almost rage dropped it for a basket or a cart from the nail polish aisle, but it gave me serious Caleb Williams vibes. Somehow, though, it made it to the end. Now that shopping cart is on waivers for someone else. What is up, my dudes? Today's episode, I am joined by Jordan and Seth. We are doing our 0 RB targets. And before we just kick this thing off, before we get into that, guys, I just want to let you know we had our most watched off-season episode on YouTube of all time for the dudes, so we can kind of clap it up for that a little bit. You know, getting going right before.
Are people just excited it's football though? Like that's a big deal, but it was the first episode of August, so maybe people are just getting excited. Is that the case? Maybe
we also got rid of dead weight. It might be a combination of the two.
Yeah, that's true.
Could be that. I wouldn't go that far, but I'm going to say that I like to think it's just we're that good. I like to say that, you know, we're arriving. So guys, give us that like, give us that sub, leave a comment why you think Wyatt got a little bit more juice. We love that. Comments help. If you want to make fun of this stupid hat I'm wearing, or if you want to make fun of, you know, these Martian looking headphones Seth's wearing, I don't care, guys. So today's episode, we have our 0 RB. Jordan is going to recap maybe a little bit of our David Carr chalk talk at the end. And I have a commissioner fixer. And then what we learned in the NFL this week. So new little segment I want to do where if I find something that we can help you out as a commissioner, let us know in the comments on this video. Let us know on Spotify, on X at tffdudes, whatever. Just let us know. We'll break it down here because maybe there's times, guys, where it's like, I don't want to be a jerk commissioner. Personally, I don't like being a jerk commissioner, but maybe you can tell people to listen to this episode and let us be the jerks. I thought that was a decent idea. Saw it on X. So a little bit of drama in this league. So I thought maybe we could help a guy out. So let's get into the 0 RBs. We got the chalk talk. Jordan is locked in on his plays right now, probably on sleeper right now. Jordan, is it looking okay for you right now? Full discrepancy. It's Thursday night right now. Had to do an early recording. This will come out, you know, normal time. So Jordan's, you know, he's sweating it out a little bit, right?
Yeah, I got screwed by Cooper Rush earlier today. You know, Trent's Cowboys just, you know, whether they're on the Cowboys or not, they seem to come back. You know, he's supposed to play like 2.5 quarters and played like a quarter. So that didn't help. And then Milrow Rushing's not going to get there, I don't think so. Anyways, again, he was supposed to start, and Drew Lock is supposed to play the second half, and they flip-flopped it. This is like 2 weeks in a row where I've been flip-flopped on who's supposed to start and who's not. So, yeah, just watching some preseason. You know, it's a Thursday night. I'm ready to go. Let's get in this, Trent.
Just before Seth, we go into the 0 RBs. What are you guys thinking about the no more chains? Like, Jordan, you're watching the game. Do you like it?
Let's go.
Get your rushing play?
I think so. I think I got it. It had to be. No flag. No
flag on the play.
Beep, beep, yeah, defense. Beep. Oh, let's go.
Oh, never mind.
Jordan is on one right now. You know, he's just became a very wealthy man. But Jordan,
I got mad because Cooper Rush ruined all my plays. I'm gonna be really mad because I would have hit a 5 for 5 and whatever. So I got even. So I was like, oh, I'm gonna reinvest the Milrow play because I liked it so much, and I got the 3 pick that I went back on it. So yeah, happy guy now. Let's go. Let's get this pod going.
Okay, so Jordan, what are you thinking about the chain gang? You know, you're watching the game right now. Do you miss the chain gang? What are you thinking?
To be honest, Trent, I didn't. I watched the whole Hall of Fame game. I watched a good amount of the 2 games earlier today. I'm watching a little bit of this game. I didn't even notice it, to be honest. So
interesting.
I don't know what that says. Like, but again, it's preseason. Like, I don't know how much like there's not a whole lot of measurements anyways. I don't know if I've seen a measurement, you know? So, or like even like anything close, or wasn't paying attention that much. Maybe it was like, so yeah, I didn't even know to be honest.
Yeah, I just was wondering, like, maybe like do they even do measurements anymore? Do they like know right away?
Yeah, I don't even know. And again, I wasn't really watching with the sound on, so they might have talked about it too. I was watching it on mute, so that might have played a part in it too. You know,
it's hard to watch Love Island and preseason football at the same time and not listen to Love Island, right?
Yeah, exactly.
No, but here's my thing with the chains, Jordan. Like, I don't ever want it to get like I'm a purist, right? So I kind of want the chain gang to always stay. That's kind of where I'm at. But I'm also at the point where I'm like, I don't want to get to the point where the fans can see the yellow line on the field. I don't want the players people see the yellow line on the field. I want some, like they've talked about lasers. I want some human element where like a quarterback steps out of bounds a yard short because he thinks he got the first down, or a running back or whatever. Like I want some human element where you still have to look at something. Is there not even chains on the sidelines for like markers for visuals for there has to be visuals, I would think.
Let me look. Look, it's 4th and inches right now in this game. So let me see if they go to the screen. Yeah, there's a marker, Trent. There's a down.
Okay,
there's a first down.
I'm cool with the marker. I don't want a laser going across the field. You know, we had a high school football game we went to a couple years ago. Fourth down and 8. The quarterback had an easy first down. He stepped out of bounds a yard short, thought he got it to stop the clock. They had no timeouts. And I just love that stuff. I don't want there to be a visual that tells them where to go. Like, keep some human element in it. Now, I know basketball has visuals for you can see where you're at. Baseball has, but I think it's just a little bit different. I like the chains of these guys.
There is. Yeah, I mean, but there's lines on the field. Like, you kind of know where you're at, right? Like,
yeah, but it's always changing though, right? Like, I don't want receivers to know like where the sticks are to turn around. Like, I want them to be like, okay, there's the sticks. I need to memorize, like, that's probably about this many steps. Enough with that. But yeah, I miss the chains. If you miss the chains, head over to Trophy Smack, guys. Head over to Trophy Smack. Get yourself a chain in honor of the chains. TrophySmack.com/dudes. 15% off your whole entire order. Head over there. Get yourself a toilet seat. Get yourself a first place trophy, unicorn, everything. Customize that thing to the max, guys. TrophySmack.com/dudes. 15% off your whole entire order, guys. Seth, let's jump into these 0 RB targets we got right here, buddy.
Okay, so when we mean by 0 RB targets, which it's later in the draft, RB targets, guys that if you are drafting wide receivers, you know, probably the first 3 rounds, then you can come back here and try to grab these guys.
And actually, Jordan, like, what is your take? Like, I know there's a bunch of yahoos that think like 0 RB means like don't draft an RB at all. I'm surprised no one asked that question at Chalk Talk last night with David Carr, because there was some wowzer questions out there last night, Jordan. Don't you think?
So how I look at a 0 RB is where you don't take a running back till probably the 4th or 5th round. I think that's one version of it. For me, there's 2 different versions of it. It's the ones where I'm taking wide receivers. Now, if you have 3 wide receivers in a flex, or you have 2 wide receivers in a flex, like, you're taking wide receivers those first 3 to 4 rounds to fill out your receiver spots and your flex spots. And then you start drafting running backs in maybe the 5th, 6th, or 4th, 5th, you know, depending on what your roster construction looks like. I think the other version of running back RB is, and I kind of like that this year, if you end up with that 3rd pick, I'm taking Bijan 2nd or 3rd, you know? So if you get like a Bijan in the 1st, or maybe you end up with like a Gibbs in the 1st round, and then you're going receiver, and then you're getting that RB2 like in the 5th, 6th round. Because if you get a running back in that 1st round, right, you are probably taking receivers for the next 3, and now you're ending up with, personally for me, that's what I'm doing. And then I think you're going 0 RB from then on out, right? So it's like your stud running back, and then you're getting these 0 RB targets in that 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th rounds, you know? And then maybe in the back end too, some long shots in the back end round. That's how I look at our 0 RB. I think there's 2 different ways to look at it.
Yeah, a lot of people would call that hero RB, where you go running back, receiver.
Yeah, sure. I guess. Yeah. My point is that this episode and those RB0 targets apply to each way of that. If you call that hero RB, I've never heard that before, to be honest. But like,
oh really?
But it's the same concept, because you're then getting your RB2 in those 5th, 6th, 7th. We're talking about the same type of people here, right? It's the same type of targets.
Yeah. So a lot of guys would say that like there's those top 5 running backs, right? Like your big 5 or your big 4, your big 3. Those are the guys that would be their hero RBs, and they're going to take one of those guys. If those guys aren't there, they're going to go running. They're going to go wide receiver heavy, and then just go late running backs. There's like they pick out those like 3 or 4 running backs they want. If they're not there, they're going to go wide receiver. So that's kind of the hero RB strategy where like past Bijan, Gibbs, and Barkley, they're basically saying after that they're just going to go wide receiver. Like they pick their 3
I
to
guess
5 guys, whoever that is.
To be honest, that's how I've drafted most of my best balls.
Okay,
So
yeah,
I guess I am kind of whether if I get Bijan or Gibbs, it's kind of Bijan or Gibbs for me. Then I'll take them. But if not, I'm just going receiver. First 3 to 4 rounds depending on the site.
Yeah. So all right, Seth. Sorry, I kind of cut you off there a little bit, pal.
So Seth, you wanted my first one? Is that what you said?
Yeah, go ahead. I like yours the best.
I got Zach Charbonnet as one of my targets. I have a decent amount of Zach Charbonnet as kind of like my RB3 on teams where I take like a lot of constructions for me are 2 of Chuba, James Conner, and David Montgomery. I have a lot of those 3. And then I like to come back with like Zach Charbonnet as like an RB3 for me on those teams, And so, or where, as Trent would say, the hero RB, where Zach Charbonnet is like the second running back I take. So I like Charbonnet. He was good last year. He was really good in the games where Kenneth Walker didn't play. There's been a lot of buzz coming out of camp that could be trending towards more of like a 50-50 split with him and Walker. And I think where you're getting him, that'll be that's good value right there. And so again, like you don't need a lot when you're going 0 RB. You just need production. And I think we can count on him having a role each week. I think his pass catching's there a little bit, a bigger pass catching role than Kenneth Walker. So I like Charbonnet. I think his role is going to be there every game. And then you also have upside if Kenneth Walker is hurt, which Kenneth Walker has not been the healthiest guy this year. I saw watching the Seahawks game right now, and I saw on the broadcast that Kenneth Walker only played 11 games last year. So, like, I mean, he misses games. So I think Charbonnet has a lot of value. And the upside with Charbonnet is high because if I told you right now that Kenneth Walker was going to miss half the games this upcoming season, I think Charbonnet would be going a lot higher in drafts.
Yeah, I totally agree. I'm looking to draft Zach Charbonnet in every draft I can.
So, Seth, you're totally out on Walker then.
Not totally out, but I think there's value in drafting Charbonnet where he's at because I think he's going to play more than people think right now.
Trent, I didn't draft. Go ahead, Seth. Sorry.
I think as more people draft, I think his RB status, like at RB 36, is actually going to go up. Okay. I think it can get into late 20s. I think. So
I wasn't drafting, but I heard in mid-July to late July, like 3 weeks ago, Kenneth Walker was going really late, like in the RB like 21, 22, like where that Chuba, Connor, Montgomery range. But now he's going like RB 15, and I think it's like 15, 16. And I think it's too high. And the gap there,
Walker's
a gap
16.
of like a gap of 20 spots. Like I just don't see like it would not surprise me when it's all said and done this year if Charbonnet is the RB1 for that football team. Would not shock me at all.
Yeah. The thing that's, just killing me is what Chargers lost their left guard, right? Was it Slater? Yeah. They lost Slater out for season. That hurts Hampton. I've been huge on Hampton. I'm still big on Hampton.
You think it hurts Hampton or you think it hurts Herbert?
I think it hurts both. I think it hurts everybody. Like you have, what is he? He's a tackle, right? He's right tackle and Alt's left tackle, correct?
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah. So I think it hurts the whole offense there. But it happened early enough that they can work somebody else in there, maybe hit the free agent wire, something like that. But yeah, that kind of bums me out for all the Omarion Hampton stuff. I've been saying all my takes. So, but I did find it interesting what David Carr said last night. He likes Hampton. He said if Hampton wasn't the real deal, they probably would have gave him more than 2 snaps or whatever it was in that first game. Like they kind of know, they've seen enough. And like, I don't know if you saw the Najee Harris selfie the Chargers posted. Very weird. Like
I didn't see that.
He's only walking, Jordan. He's cleared to walk. No, but if you look at the picture, he like took a selfie. His like left eye is like closed. So he's like basically like
Trent, he blew himself up with a firework.
No, I know, but it's just like I wouldn't have posted the picture.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Unless it's Pirate Day at Charger Stadium, like that's fine. But no, I don't think you post that stuff. Like it's just, I don't know, throw an eye patch on him, call it good. Like, don't tell us he's cleared to walk. Like, has he been just bedridden this whole
Oh,
time?
my
Like,
guess,
I have
my guess, Trent, is that he couldn't do. It's like getting a concussion. You have like some of those guys, like he probably had headaches, and you can't run. So he probably is just on a very slow path to recovery. I mean, head injuries are weird.
Yeah. So
And you get a lot of pressure in that eye area. So
oh yeah, no, you probably can't take a hit. Like
yeah,
it might make him play a little bit different for his first couple games back too. Like just I've heard of glass jaws. I've heard of glass jaws. I've heard of glass eyes. I've never heard of somebody play with a glass eye though, but I think his eye's okay. So all right. Enough with the pirate talk, matey. Seth, what do we have next?
Trent, let's go over to your highest ranked running back. A guy that honestly I'm not too sure about, but you could convince me. Let's say that.
I like where he's going, and maybe he's a little too high for 0 RB, but I still think like 4th round, 3rd round, maybe he's there. And I've been talking about him, but I got a DeAndre Swift. He's back with Ben Johnson, but I think this time things are a little bit different. Chicago's run game should be better. Last year in Chicago, Swift wasn't the goal line guy. He's never been the goal line guy. Remember him in Philadelphia? 0 goal line carries, basically. But he still made an impact. He broke off some big runs, caught passes, racked up close to 1,000 yards in a split backfield. And if you're wondering about short yardage in this offense, could Roschon Johnson be like a thrift store David Montgomery? Maybe. I don't know, but it's like I'm using the term thrift store very loosely. But Swift's back with Ben Johnson, like I said, one of the most creative play callers in the league, and he's running behind a rebuilt offensive line. Bears added Joe Thuney, Jonah Jackson, and rookie tackle. So should be a pretty big upgrade. Big play back. No, sorry. A smarter scheme, brand new O-line. And I don't think we should sleep on this Bears ground game. I think Ben Johnson, a little bit he took from Campbell is run the ball. And I think they could make a huge bounce back here in 2025. Right now, he's going what right now? Right now, DeAndre Swift's running back 23. So a little early for 0 RB, but I still think the value there is not all that bad.
No,
Jordan,
I think you're wrong with just the too early. I mean, he's right in that range of he's right there
sweet spot.
In that range, in that sweet spot of like Chuba. I'm telling you, I'm not trying. I've done a lot of drafts, and like you can draft 4 wide receivers and get the Connor, the RJ Harveys, the David Montgomerys in that 5th round. So like for me, I guess I just prefer other guys in that range. Montgomery, Harvey, Travion Henderson, Connor, Chuba, but I think he's fine. The one point I want to correct you on is I think Kyle Monangai out of Rutgers, rookie 7th grade draft pick, is the second running back to have on this team. I want 0 Roschon Johnson.
Roschon.
I think Monangai is going to be the David Montgomery role. I think he is a great target. Great target to have like late in best ball drafts in that last round as a long shot flyer. Good hard, kind of fits that hard runner role out of Rutgers. So so I like Monangai as the secondary Bears back. And Ben Johnson's going to use 2 running backs. So I think there's a point there.
Yeah.
But I don't mind Swift. I prefer other guys, but I don't mind Swift. I think he's fine. Like if those other guys aren't there, I think he's a fine target to have.
Yeah. And I think Seth, Seth has always been a DeAndre Swift guy. Always has. This just goes to show that Seth hates me for whatever reason, because he used to he probably had a DeAndre Swift poster at his house like 2 years ago. And maybe that's why he doesn't like him, because it was at least the wallpaper on his computer. But what I'm saying is like Swift was so like frustrating for Seth his last year in Philadelphia. I think Seth's just completely off him. So
yeah, no, it was pretty frustrating because I had him in some stuff and it was not pretty.
Yeah, he was one of your main guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyways, it ended up being Saquon Barkley a year later. So
yeah,
is what it is, man.
You're off.
Trent, let's have you go again, but maybe let's have you start ringing a bell that you've rung many times. If you know what I'm talking about.
My bell, ring my bell. right, that was not weird at all. Want me to go to the bell ringer? Like you're saying, like the Texas Tech bell ringer. That was, Seth's dream college job there. What are you saying? You want me to go with my number 3 or my number 2 there?
Your number 3. Your number 2 guy is not a bell you've been ringing for a long time.
Okay, yeah, the bell ringer. Okay,
This is the guy every time you ring his bell, he gets hurt. So let's
J.K. Dobbins could be Denver's secret weapon. J.K. Dobbins in Denver, 2024 numbers. He was one of the most underrated picks of the offseason, I think. And here's why I really like it. Last season with the Chargers, Dobbins averaged 69.6 rushing yards per game. That was 10th among all running backs. While he didn't have a ton of 15-yard carries, he showed he could break off the occasional huge run when it mattered. Dobbins posted probably his best. No, he posted his best fantasy season ever last year. 14.8 fantasy points per game. Good for 18th overall. And now he's in Denver where his role could be anything to main early down back, part of a 3-man rotation. Not quite sure, but flexibility gives Sean Payton tons of options. Plus, I think Dobbins should have solid red zone equity here. Like he's not that much bigger than RJ Harvey, but he has the proven production, big playability, and red zone touches, and a creative offensive mind. And right now, RJ Harvey is 5th on the depth chart. I don't think that lasts, but I think Dobbins definitely is that red zone guy that's going to get a lot of touches there. So is that good enough ringing the bell for you there, Seth?
Yep, I thought so.
Yeah, Jordan, you're all in on Harvey, huh?
Yeah, I couldn't disagree with you more on this one. So
okay.
We're on total opposite sides of the spectrum here on this situation.
So
what do you think? J.K. Dobbins is dead?
I just think RJ Harvey is that guy. Like, I mean, they drafted him in the second round. So I don't know if you caught this on that depth chart they released. Every single rookie was at the bottom of the depth chart. So I don't think it means anything.
I don't think
he's gotten
stays
really good. He's gotten
yeah.
really good reviews in camp. Like I think RJ Harvey's that guy. Like maybe it starts off as as kind of a split, but and you think RJ Harvey was a legitimate touchdown guy in college. Like,
yeah, but you don't think they brought Dobbins in? I think they're going to use Dobbins for something.
They brought Dobbins in before they drafted Harvey, though.
Yeah, but I still think, when they're paying the guy, I think they're going to give him some short yardage, at least early on in the season. Right now,
yeah, I'm not saying he's not going to have a role, but we're talking about running back. There's not many guys who have complete backfields in the league. Like there's just almost every
RB34, RB34, and RJ Harvey.
He's like 22. Like the gap is not as big as like the Charbonnet Walker gap. Like it's like you can get RJ Harvey in a 0 RB mold. Like, I mean, you can do it.
Both.
Like, I don't know if there's a lot of upside when you cap your upside when you do that, but I don't know. I like Harvey a lot. So
all right, Seth,
Jordan, let's go back over to you and let's go with your deepest guy on this whole list. Let's go there.
He went there.
I have Brashard Smith. Anyone know where Brashard Smith went?
Honestly, that's why I said it, because I saw that name and I was like, who is that?
Is he play for the
Brashard
Smith went to college?
Things. Where did he go to college, and who does he play for?
I'm feeling like he plays for the 49ers.
Nope.
Seth, where do you think he goes?
I don't honestly.
Saints, Jordan?
No.
I'm gonna say honestly, I'm not even gonna say any. I have no
clue. The Chiefs. 7th round draft pick of the Chiefs.
Obviously, we all should have known that.
Okay, yeah, where did he go to? Where any guesses on where? Anyone know where he went to school?
Texas Tech.
You're in the right state.
Okay. I want to say Rice, but I think it's SMU.
SMU, yeah. So Brashard Smith was a pretty electric guy in college. Went to SMU, was like their main running back. Pretty explosive guy. So he is in line to be like the pass catching back for the Chiefs. Last year at SMU, he had 39 catches, 327 yards, and 4 touchdowns. He had over 1,300 rushing yards and 14 touchdowns. So like he had 18 touchdowns last year. His last year of college at SMU. I think it's just a weapon that Patrick Mahomes could use. Kind of in that we saw for years they used. Oh my gosh, I'm blanking on what's the pass catching running back they had for a couple years and it would Mahomes used. Why am I blanking on his name?
The Gator Hunter.
Jerick McKinnon.
Jerick McKinnon. Yeah, like I mean, McKinnon had some really valuable, like a valuable role in that offense, and so I think Brashard Smith could have that role. I mean, he has Hunt and Pacheco in front of him. Neither of those guys are pass catchers, right? So like, I think Brashard Smith could be used. I think they could split him out wide. I just think he's a guy. He's a guy down there in that range. There's a bunch of guys, and I can talk about him towards the end of the pod. But like, just a guy attached to a good offense. And Mahomes likes to throw to the running backs. He'll throw the running back. So I just think he's a guy, a cheap guy, and a good offense. Kind of a cheap attachment to that offense, and a pretty explosive guy in college. So I think he's a pretty talented guy. Kind of like in the Keaton Mitchell role, who we saw Keaton Mitchell today as we're recording, had a great game today. So kind of in that role a little bit, Yeah.
I had so much Keaton Mitchell in Dynasty. I think I still have him a couple leagues, but like with Henry, it's just really hard to but maybe if he's healthy, maybe they throw him out there a little bit more, Jordan.
I think he overtakes Justice Hill as the main backup.
Okay.
Pass catching backup.
He's just so fast and so electric. Like he was almost like Jordan in that like Devon Achane role, like same talk. Like
no, I mean, yeah.
When Achane and Mitchell, I had them paired up with McCaffrey 2 years ago, and it was like those three running backs. It was a lot of fun, like in playoffs. Like they were making plays and doing so. And like Keaton Mitchell and Achane, they were getting very low, usage. They were just like complete, just total electricity with those two guys. So I just like even Pacheco's going kind of late, Jordan. You think that just they kind of go with hot hand, or you're just saying that somebody gets a role there?
To see what that I can see Hunt getting phased out there. That's what I think will end up happening. But
because Pacheco's RB25 right now.
Like I'm pretty confident that Brashard Smith is going to be the third down back in Kansas City. And I think that role has some fantasy value as a late round flyer. Like, because if you're going 0 RB, you're going to want to have a couple of these guys on the back end. And maybe he is more viable in like best ball, like 0 RB in best ball than like 0 RB in redraft. That makes sense. Because you may not need to dip that low in a 12-team redraft, where you only have 16 rounds, as opposed to, depending on what site you're playing in best ball, you're in the 18 to 20 rounds. So you just have more guys in best ball.
Yeah. All right.
Trent, let's go to your middle guy here.
My middle. Okay, my middle guy here. I got here. You're throwing me off when you go over like this.
Trey Benson.
I got Trey Benson. I got Trey. James Conner, he kind of dropped a hint this week that maybe Trey Benson made me think Trey Benson could be one of the sneaky fantasy picks this year. Connor said Cardinals are rolling with a 1A, 1B backfield this season, and he's not worried about sharing touches because Benson's that good. Benson added nearly 10 pounds of muscle this offseason, now weighing 226, just 5 pounds lighter than Connor. Size-wise, they're basically the same, but Benson has a little bit more breakaway speed, and Arizona's offensive line solid at avoiding negative plays, which means steady work for both backs. And the Cardinals have the third easiest schedule for running backs going into 2025. So same size, different skills, third easiest schedule for running backs. If the split is real, or if Connor misses time again, I think Benson could really help you out. And a lot of guys were high on Benson last year, and Connor just, stayed pretty healthy for the most part. So if it really is this like 1A, 1B thing where they're using both of them, which wouldn't shock me, I really like where Benson's going at RB 45. So I think I'll have a lot of Trey Benson when it's all said and done. Are you believing that smoke, guys, that it's a 1B, 1A thing, or do you think that's just a little bit of training camp buzz? They spent some decent capital on Benson, didn't they?
I thought he was a later round draft pick a few years ago.
Was he? I can look it up here real quick.
I think he got drafted 2 or 3 years ago.
2 years
I can tell
ago.
you right now. in 5 seconds.
Number 66.
He was a 3rd round draft pick in 2024.
Okay. So I don't know. I've always kind of been a Benson guy, and I like where he's going right here. And I James
think
Conner.
it's pretty decent. Like, I think it's a good. I think if I were to draft a running back here, right? Because if this is a truly a 0 RB situation, or like what Jordan said, like a hero RB, this might be your 3rd running back off the board. You already have 3 or 4 pretty like high up there solid receivers. You probably have at least 2 decent running backs, or you have a really good one and a decent running back, and this is like your 3rd one that you might be willing to take a shot on. And I think that one, I'm curious if Trey Benson's going to be one where people just avoid it and draft like a flyer on a receiver. And if he kind of falls to you, I think it's a good spot. I don't know if it's something you necessarily would want to reach for. I think that's just my opinion. But if it falls to me in the right spot, and I have a lot of receivers already, I'll draft him.
Yeah. So, yeah, that's kind of where I kind of like all 3 of those guys I have there. Does Jordan have one more here?
Yeah, Jordan's got one. He's ranked 1 spot ahead of Benson.
Yeah, I had Dylan Sampson going rookie out of Tennessee, going RB 44 right now. So there's a couple of things, like he's gonna end up being 2nd on the Browns depth chart, just because Quinshawn Junkins, it does not look like he's gonna play this year. He's unsigned. Arraignment's like set for a while from now, so like this is gonna be a slow legal process for him. And then once the legal process plays out, he's probably getting suspended. So, like, there's a chance that he doesn't even get signed to a contract this year. And so then all he has in front of him is Jerome Ford. Like, I mean, I know Jerome Ford had that year where he was pretty good, but, like, I don't see it. He was not as good last year. So, I mean, we have a situation where Dylan Sampson could really be a guy for the Browns. And I just think there's a chance he could be the RB1 this year when it's all said and done. And I think the value you get at RB44 now might be a bad team, but like I think bad teams sometimes will use the running backs a decent amount. So I don't know. I just think he's good value there for a guy who potentially could be the RB2 or RB1. And like if they're not doing good and they're kind of tanking, who do you think they're going to play? Jerome Ford or Dylan Sampson? It's probably going to be like Dylan Sampson. So I don't know. I just think he's a good shot there. He ends up on a lot of my teams like the RB3 or RB4 for me. So a guy who was ultra productive at Tennessee too. He had 1,500 yards and 22 touchdowns last year.
I'm just wondering if he starts jumping up a little bit, Jordan, but I don't see him jumping up that much further. We went to what do you think about David Carr talking about the Browns last night, Jordan? We went to the David Carr chalk talk. He did talk about the Browns a decent amount. He expects their offensive line to be better. Do you believe any of that, or what do you think?
Well, he said that they're going to probably trade a quarterback, which my guess is they'll trade Kenny Pickett if they can. But
yeah,
I mean, I think the Browns.
He said the pass blocking will be better. He said they kind of set that up, to play to Watson's strengths, and they're not doing that this year. It'll be a little bit more, pro style, not moving around. And, David Carr even told us that Stefanski never wanted Watson. So, he's just in this whole mess.
Yeah.
And now he's, trying to make the best of it. And even with like what he said, Flacco, David said when he got there with Flacco was like, oh, are you here to compete with me too? Or something to that instance, because the Browns just bring in so many quarterbacks. But I thought it was interesting what he said about the offensive line, how they will be better and they will protect better. And he also said Flacco told him, like, if I didn't think I couldn't be the starting quarterback here, I wouldn't be here. Like, it's too much work to put my body through to just ride the bench. Like, I'm kind of, at the end of my career, if I think I'm going to play, I'm going to be here and do it. So I think the line should be a little bit better. 2 years ago in Cleveland, like this is the biggest Flacco pod that's not a Browns podcast out there, basically. So it makes you think like Samson, maybe Browns are a little I don't think the Browns win that many games, but they do have a pretty good defense. So
I just think that
they
if
keep it
they're
close.
not being good, they're going to go to the rookie running back, right? Like, it doesn't make
Yeah.
sense to keep running Jerome Ford out there, who was a 2022 draft pick when you have your 20, and they drafted 2 running backs this year. So, like, Quinshawn, and that tells me they don't think that highly of Jerome Ford, right? If you're drafting 2 running backs.
Yeah. So what about, and all the tanking for Arch Manning, is it Archie who said he's not going to leave next year? He's telling him not to leave. It's hard to say a year in advance, but so I don't know. Anything else, Jordan, you want to talk, or do you want to save that for what you learned in the NFL, or do you have any other bonus guys?
I think there's some other good, other guys I like, just other 0 RB guys on the back end. I think Braylon Allen's a good target.
Absolutely. I
think that he has a chance. Talked about Keaton Mitchell a little bit, looked really healthy today. Kyle Monangai talked about a little bit. Taj Brooks didn't have the best game today with the Bengals, but he's the RB2 there. If Chase Brown goes down, it's Taj Brooks. I know P. Ryan's there, but they cut Zach Moss. We mentioned Woody Marks, I think, on the last pod with the Texans. Just different. Another guy is Ja'Cory Croskett-Merritt with the Commanders. I think is kind of interesting there. Jalen Wright, I've kind of been getting a decent amount of with the Dolphins, just because I think if Achane goes down, I think Jalen Wright walks into a pretty big role, and it's not like Achane doesn't have injury history. And then they also, I don't know if you saw this, Tyreek Hill said they should be using Jalen Wright more in the red zone.
Yeah.
The goal line. And then McDaniels pretty much said, he didn't really say anything new. He just said what was happening in practice that day, because that's what we repped in practice. So I think there's some interesting targets there. More in I like David Montgomery. I like Jaylen Warren a lot. I think the Aaron Jones, Jordan Mason situation is interesting. Same with the Tyrone Tracy Scatabo conversation is interesting. Ray Davis, I talked about last pod. I think Tyjae Spears is just a good target there.
You saw Blue got hauled off in a golf cart today at practice for Dallas.
I did not see
so
that.
I don't know what the injury is. It might have came out by now, but we said this on the last pod, Seth, these guys basically, if they have golf carts, they're going to use them for whatever reason. It seemed like his was maybe more interesting. And, David Carr said he felt weird about Dak, Jordan, because all that Schottenheimer's talking about is running the ball every single play.
But if you can't run the football, you're going to have to.
Yeah, but but that's what their mindset is right now. But they might not be able to. And if they do, I don't think we know who the running back is.
The counterpoint to that is that Dak's second favorite to lead the league in passing yards. That tells me all I need to know. When it's Burrow and Dak, Burrow at 5-1, Dak at 8-1, it's okay, they're going to throw.
Yeah.
Because they're going to have to.
Yeah. You don't want any of those.
One more guy. Go ahead, Trent. Sorry.
You don't like Miles Sanders or Javonte, just throwing a dart throw at him.
I just don't see it.
Late.
I don't see it.
Yeah.
I just don't. I don't know. One other guy, Trey, and you should like this guy. If you think CMC is not going to stay healthy, then you should like Isaac Guerrero.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. The last 8 years, CMC's backup needs to be drafted. And last year, Jordan Mason, when I had CMC, moron 49ers fan drafted Mason really early, and that was before the news came out.
Yeah.
So I hate that guy.
I think if you're gonna be out on CMC, I think you have to be in on Isaac Guerrero.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So I think we talked about a lot of 0 RB guys there.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of hit them all there. Jordan, you want to talk about anything you learned at the David Carr thing, or you want to wait that for what we learned in the NFL this week?
No, I just thought the 2 more interesting top things that he said was the Cowboys thing. I thought was interesting that he said they're going to be more run heavy. I just don't see it. And then he was very hesitant about the Lions offense. So that was interesting to me. And it was funny because he said that, and then it came out today that the report was it's been a rockier transition than anticipated between Ben Johnson and the new OC. So that was just interesting to me. We called that, Jordan. Me and you called that, at the end of the year. We did, but then I've kind of acted like it's not going to matter this offseason. So, yeah. He said, anything else? Yeah, no. What David kept saying was their OC just kept pounding in how our receivers need a better route tree, and David was like, no.
Amon-Ra St. Brown has a route tree. He doesn't need a bigger route tree. Like, say
Basically,
what
the
it
only
is.
guy who really is JMO, who's who he's probably
Yeah.
talking about.
And he's like, and your main thing, but he did say, like, Gamble does have a play sheet. Gamble is going to be knowing what plays are being called. He's going to pressure them to run the ball. Like,
Yeah.
so, but yeah, we will see who the more valuable person is there. The other one, it was wild. Like, David Carr brought up that Pete Carroll has never had a season where he's below 50% rush rate. So he said Genty's going to get the ball all the time. And like, I just looked at Jordan and Jordan started laughing because remember when Jordan got mad at me, Seth, for bringing up 10-year-old stats? We're here with David Carr, my life.
Doing the same thing.
My childhood hero saying the same thing that I said. So it's just
funny. Did you see
and he's an NFL analyst.
And he's an NFL analyst. Yeah. Just like me.
Genty's stat line tonight?
Yeah, was it 3 carries for negative yards, or was it more carries?
Negative 1 yard. Yep, 3 carries, negative 1 yard.
Yeah, in the other one. So yeah, so we got to go
Trent,
see what.
Go ahead. Sorry, go. I have something.
No,
I
was just
ask. I have a question I want to ask you guys. But I wanted you finish.
No, I was just gonna say, thanks to Valley Children's thanks to Valley Children's for putting on that thing. I think I will go back. It was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was good.
And I wanted to say, how do I do this here? I just wanted to share this and just say, for all the like single guys out there, find someone that looks at you the way me and Jordan look at David Carr in this picture. If you want to head over to YouTube at tffdudes, like, I don't know, that's just like my 3rd grade version of myself has never been more jealous of myself than what I was right there. Like, David Carr, absolute childhood hero right there. Talked to him about the Oregon State game. So I don't know. I had a lot of fun listening to him. He talked for about 2 hours. Is basically Joe just Q&A, asking whatever question you wanted. I wanted to ask him what.
I was say his knowledge, listening to him talk about the QB play was probably the best part of the night because his knowledge of quarterback play and the way that quarterbacks think and offensive systems is, and he can, I think a lot of guys know that, but then the way he's able to verbalize it and teach it was pretty impressive.
Yeah. And even when he said, like, he was talking about Kevin O'Connell, he really likes Kevin O'Connell. So he didn't really know what to say about JJ McCarthy, but he had a lot of good things to say about Kevin O'Connell. And, who are the other guys that he was a little worried about? Jaden Daniels, because he said Cliff Kingsbury puts quarterbacks in trouble where they get hit, Seth. So, Jordan. So that was kind of interesting. I thought he said that. And then I liked what he said about Aaron Rodgers. And then he said Aaron Rodgers at training camp just is throwing to Darnell Mooney like all the time because he's a massive human being.
Darnell Washington.
Darnell Washington. Sorry. And then the meme comes out today how much bigger Darnell Washington is than every other tight end. Like, he's just towering over that 6'5" tight end on the roster. So he's very big. And then the ball in his hands is like, just looks so tiny. It looks like, when you're holding one of those Nerf balls, Seth, in that guy's hand. So pretty cool thing. Good tacos. Got to take a picture. Lots of questions. Highly recommend it. So for a good cause. And I thought it was
real quick, Trent. So
yeah,
before we go into what we learned, question for you guys. I was thinking about this. Keeper league. Okay. Would you keep, and I think I'm going to have this. Yes, Trent.
I was just going to give a shout out to Tailgate Fantasy Sports for
go ahead.
Yeah, that's all. Yeah, sorry. So keeper league.
Keeper league. I think I'm going to have the 7th pick if I do this right. So 7th pick. Jamar Chase in the 1st round. I picked number 7. I think it's fine. Malik Neighbors in the 3rd round. Or Jamison Williams in the 10th round.
I think you got to go Chase at 7.
Yeah.
You think
Seth, you agree?
Yeah, I think so.
Between JMO and Chase, I don't think I'd take Neighbors in the 3rd.
JMO or Chase.
You wouldn't take Neighbors in the 3rd?
No.
I don't think so.
He's going in the 1st round. He's basically a 1st round draft pick.
Yeah. I don't know. If you think Chase is the number 1 guy, I think you got to keep him at 7.
Well, because if you think Joe Burrow's going to throw for 5,000 yards, then you probably need Chase.
Yeah.
Yeah. Listen to your heart, Jordan.
You can probably end up getting like a. Yeah. Yeah, you're probably right. You're
Don't
probably right.
overthink it.
It's
You have a
probably
good
got to be
problem.
Chase still.
Yeah. If you really want JMO, take him in the second.
Yeah, I don't
Just
think he'll go
force
that
it.
early, but
Just will it. Just will it to happen. Or the third. I don't know.
yeah.
But I wonder if you can get neighbors on the way back.
In the second, yeah, that's what
In
I
the
was just thinking
second.
about in this league
You might
especially.
be able to
So
get him in the second.
yeah,
Okay. So before we get into what we learned, I have a little commissioner thing here. Commissioner Rhino, you give him a follow on X. Good follow. I'll pull it up here right here so you can see it on the screen. So at Commish Rhino, I need some help with something fancy football wise, especially if you're a commissioner. This is the deal. Someone that's not responding to multiple texts, calls, and emails to confirm he's in for season 8 of our Keeper League and year 2 of our Dynasty League. I've also reached out on Instagram message and he read it, but still no response. I've got solid replacements already lined up. I figured if there's no response by the end of the day to remove him from both leagues. I think you got to remove him, right? Like he obviously doesn't care that much. I think I pulled the Band-Aid off. Like there's been plenty of reason. What you could do is you could remove him for a day and see if he says anything. If he's like, dude, you removed me from the league. What are you doing? I've been busy with work, or like my cat's been at
Trent,
the vet.
he read the message. All you gotta do is give a thumbs up. Like, it's not that if you read the message, that means you saw it. I don't care if you're at work. Like, if you read the message, that means you could take the 5 seconds to reply back. I'm in. Like, it's not.
I think once you remove him from the league, though, it's like, dude, what are you thinking? Like, and it's like, hey, I did this. Like, maybe you don't replace him.
If you're gonna leave people on red like multiple times, and I think it's valid to just kick him out.
Yeah. Seth left me on red tonight, right, Seth?
Did I?
Yeah, I said, are you getting on the pod?
Yeah, I didn't see that until I sat down, so it makes sense.
Okay. Yeah. So it could have been something like that. Like, like cat in the vet could be a serious thing. But yeah, I think you got to kick him out. It's been too late. We're in the, August. We're in the heat of draft time. So I think you got to just move on, and maybe it's a bonus. It's like your brother-in-law or something that makes it even easier. Right. So, or like someone who just didn't come to the draft. All right. It's something like someone not doing last place punishment. I don't have any new last place punishments ideas this week, but what did you learn in the NFL? So that was our new commissioner fixer, so that you got any commissioner problems, questions, just let us know in the YouTube comments or on X at tffdudes. What did you learn in the NFL this week? Seth, do you have anything? Now that you're kind of like wanting to be a Raiders fan, you're not sure. Did you learn anything?
This does have to do with the Raiders, though. So what I've learned is not maybe I've already known this, but I think this confirms it. Is I used to be an arguer that a person, not any person, but like I think there's a decent amount of people who could get 1 yard on one carry if they had the chance in the NFL. And after seeing Ashton Genty absolutely get barreled 3 times for -1 yard, I don't even think most people could get 1 yard on one carry. Like especially if the defense knows it's coming, like I don't think you stand a chance.
Okay, so here's the other problem though, Seth. He changed his stance. He's not standing anymore. He's probably uncomfortable.
Wait, really?
So yeah.
Wait,
he changed
why
his
did
stance.
I not even? The thing is that didn't even when I saw it, it didn't even click.
Yeah, so his straight up stance is gone, so it's probably a little uncomfortable for him. So it's gonna take him a little bit,
Why is there?
learn how to
Why are
play
they
from an
making him
athletic
do
position.
that? That's annoying.
I don't know.
Does it mess with timing? Maybe,
or maybe it just looks sloppy.
His coach is Pete Carroll, Seth. That tells
it's
you all
true.
you need
He's
to
definitely
know.
telling him getting the.
I mean, the
the
guy is
ready
like
position.
Yeah, I mean, he's the most you think that guy's gonna
2-point
let
stance.
the most unfundamental stance go? No, that guy's gonna be like,
I
coached Marshawn Lynch 15 years ago. That guy was always low to the ground. It's Pete Carroll. That tells you all you need to know.
No, but I don't know. I think it's either got to be 3-point stance or, hands. I think if he came out and just said, hey, I'm going 3-point stance, I think that looks so tough. Him back there in the I formation, 3-point stance, ready to rock and roll.
Why? Why do we wonder why Trent is the Pete Carroll apologetic? Of course. Those
No.
two
Well, hey,
people.
fullbacks used to get in a 3-point stance, but running backs never did. But like, I think like, who was it? Barry Switzer said like, if someone came out and ran the wishbone good, no one would stand a chance in today's football. Like, and I'm kind of like, yeah, no one knows how to like just get socked in the face like that 3 times in a row. But
Trent would walk into Lions training camp and be like, Jahmyr Gibbs, 3-point stance, like
if they're running the wishbone, it's totally acceptable. But
that's the funny part is they didn't
NFL.
make Gibbs change his stance, but I think Jordan's right. Yeah. It's Pete Carroll.
Yeah, but you can't like. I don't know the standing straight up. I get them changing that. Like it was cool, but it's also like, what are we doing here? It just doesn't look. I wonder if they noticed a tendency where he was like pointing on certain plays or something like that. I wonder if they, you know what I'm saying? Because there's guys that pick up on little tendencies. Like Belichick said he was coaching against the guy, and I think the guy said like if his play call was like in his left hand, it was a run. If it's in his right hand, it was a pass. Like they just find stuff like that. And I wonder if when he was standing straight up, if there was like something his foot was pointing the wrong way or something like that when he's getting the ball. So there's no telling why they did that, but it's like Chip Kelly, Pete Carroll, like I don't know. So what I learned this week or I'll let you go first, Jordan. Maybe I'm stealing yours. I have a couple.
I learned tonight that the Bengals defense is so bad, and the offense is so good, and the Bengals it's gonna be shootouts every single week with that team. Like they're gonna drag teams into shootouts because that offense is so good, and I know they have a tough division with the Steelers and the Browns and the Ravens who all have good defenses, but that offense is too good. I mean, Jamar Chase is just a freak, and like Burrow's so good, and I know it's a preseason game, but then on the flip side, like their defense is so bad, like so bad. I don't at every level, like Tanner McKee just shredded them, and like I just think that the Bengals, man, they're just gonna be awesome every single week. Jamar Chase is gonna repeat, I think, again, as long as he stays healthy. Burrow's gonna just chuck the ball. He's gonna throw the ball 50 times. So I guess I just learned that like this Bengals defense is not improve at all. They're gonna be bad, and they're just gonna go score 30 points a game. Like it's just gonna be awesome. Every single week you're gonna want Bengals, I think.
So not that I'm disagreeing with you. Maybe it gets a little bit better when their rookie first round draft pick starts playing a little bit more. Maybe like, I don't know how much he can really do, but like, he just signed, right? So that's my only counter argument, but I'm not disagreeing with you. I don't think the defense, like, was it Stewart? Is that his name? I don't think there's Shamar a lot. Stewart. Yeah. I wanted to say Shermer, but I knew that wasn't it. All right. Things I learned this week. I learned that Marshawn Lynch is now a photographer. You guys see that, the game, and how he gave that guy a forearm shiver in the back to protect his Nikon camera. So I don't know how often he's doing that. And then I also learned that the Saints have not won a game since 2022 without Derek Carr. They have not won a game since 2022 without Derek Carr at quarterback. So it'll be interesting to see how good they are this year. But those were kind of the things I learned in the NFL this week. And like, this is Thursday night, so there's a few days where, maybe I'll learn something a little bit else, So got a lot of games going. We got some plays coming on Sleeper. However, Sleeper, enter promo code DUDES100, match up to $100. Get those dynamic payouts, guys. Get ready for those drafts. Guys, I have some rankings I'm going to be doing weekly. Sign up for the Dudes letter at www.thefantasyfootballdudes.com. Going to be really cool. Excited for you to see that. Go sign up for that, guys. Just a little email that'll go to your inbox every single week. Maybe help you with some starts, sits, questions. Guys, anything else we want to cover here on this pod? Seth, you look a little under the weather. Are you thinking about taking an IV or anything, or no?
No, I drink a lot of water. Unlike someone to my left, when he's dehydrated, he just doesn't drink water. So,
well, your left would be Jordan, just so you know.
Well, if for the person's looking at the screen, how it's posted, it would actually be my left.
Okay, well, I'm just like, maybe learn your rights and lefts before you start.
Okay.
There's throwing a lot of rocks living in the glass house.
It's this guy over here. Okay,
okay. All right. Very funny. Very funny. Okay. Well, guys, I think that does it. Thanks for tuning in. As always, Remember, don't be rude. Share the dudes, really helps us out, guys. Give us a like, give us a sub. I hate begging for that, but it does help. So, guys, we will see you next time. As Seth always says, catch you on the flippy flip. And as always, take care.
Gout gang.